Hello everybody, hope you guys are all enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at your winter storm Kade forecast, which is going to be impacting parts of the central and southern United States with some snowfall, ice, and as well some rainfall as you get further to the south and east of this system. Now, we're going to start off with the National Weather Service, and one thing I want to point out before we do get into it, I am sick right now, as you can probably tell, and I'm feeling better today, luckily, than I was yesterday, but I am sounding a lot worse. So hopefully you guys can bear with me throughout this video. I'm going to try my best to make it through the video, and I really want to update you guys on this storm because there is a lot of new updates, and I definitely want to get this video out to you guys as soon as possible. So we are experiencing, currently on the National Weather Service, we are experiencing some winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, winter storm watches through much of the central and western United States, freeze warnings and freeze watches over parts of southern California and southern Arizona, and then winter weather advisories for a small portion there of northeastern Virginia and northern New Jersey there. And we also have some flood watches in effect for parts of the southeastern United States through Florida and all the way up through into Kentucky and Virginia, where you are going to be in this warm sector of this storm, and that's going to be able to pull in some Gulf moisture and really allow for that storm to cook up in your area and really bring a lot of precipitation your way. And also, something I want to note, this system is going to come in two parts here. So you're going to have this first initial punch for parts of the central Great Lakes and northeastern United States, but then you're also going to get this second resurgence that's going to be forming out here, and that's going to move further and further to the north, and that's going to be what really brings a ton of this precipitation to parts of the interior and northeast in the form of snowfall. And this is also going to bring a bunch of rainfall. If you live in this warm sector of this, you're going to see probably 3 inches, 4 inches widespread of rainfall. So a very messy system and a very wet system at that. And I'll definitely have another forecast out on that because we are far away from that system, so I don't want to really get into it too much in detail because it is still something that can definitely change. Now, let's get into your surface analysis map from the Weather Prediction Center, and this can show you where your low and high pressures are. We have a high pressure to the north here that's bringing some fairly cold air to parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota, and that's bringing in all this cold air down to the south. That's what's fueling or allowing some snowfall to set up over this area in parts of Oklahoma and Texas. And you see, we also have this cold front dragging down through. We have this weaker low pressure system over parts of Colorado, and we have this stronger one out in Arkansas. And I said that before in my last forecast on the system, my first forecast on the system, that there is going to be two low pressure systems, and this one's going to really develop with that Gulf moisture, and this one is really going to get died off, or really. And you see, to the south of this warm front, or this cold front, we have mid 70s and upper 70s even in some areas. And then to the north of here, we have mid to upper 30s, some 40s creeping here and there, but mainly low 40s, upper 30s, even mid 30s, some areas. So about a 30-degree temperature difference, and that is really something that can fuel a storm and bring it a lot of energy out of the Gulf. And really, that's something that strengthens the storm, having a large gradient in temperatures. Now, let's get into your precipitation forecast here from the European model, and we're going to start off with your precipitation. It's going to show you where your rain, snow, and ice are with this event. So as we get into later today, you'll start to see that snow start to move into parts of the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. We also have this preliminary band that I was talking about move through parts of the the north central Great Lakes and northeastern United States with some mixed precipitation as well as some snowfall along with that. Now, also, something I want to point out, this is just one model's representation, so definitely there's a lot of fluctuation between the models, but not too much. We're pretty certain, but really the big fluctuation is where is this band of snowfall that's going to set up over Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri. If that moves a couple miles, if this system moves a little bit to the west, a little bit to the east, that's going to have big fluctuations on whether you're going to see, especially in an area like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, in Oklahoma. Really, those areas are going to have really a tough time figuring out that forecast until we get very close to this event. Because you could have a little bit of a fluctuation to the north, you could have a little bit of a fluctuation to the south, and that is going to bring your 6-inch band or more of snowfall to the east or to the west, depending on where this system tracks. So a big a large amount of discrepancy with this system still, even though we are very close to this event. Now, getting into your Wednesday morning, you're starting to see that snow break out over North Texas and through Oklahoma. We also see that very heavy rainfall move through into parts of the southeast. And now, this is really where this storm gets its act together, where it's moving over Missouri, Illinois, through Indiana by Wednesday night and through into Thursday morning. You get this next shot of cold air, and according to the European model, it's putting out a little bit of snow on the southern side. We'll have to see. That's definitely a possibility as you get that cold air Thursday morning to really seep south on the western side of this system as the system departs. So definitely, I'm not ruling it out that you could see a couple wet snowflakes if you do live in those areas, but definitely not going to accumulate. So really a cheap thrill if you do live in those areas, but that would be definitely something interesting to see snow that far south. We also have a lot of icy precipitation moving through Thursday morning through parts of the Ohio Valley and Northeast, and this is something that really has not changed from yesterday. And they've been pretty certain that you're going to see a quarter of an inch of ice in some of these areas, even a little bit more in some of these areas through Pennsylvania, especially through central and northern Ohio, and especially into southern New England. You're really seeing that increased threat of some good ice accumulation there. So you start to see this heavier band of snow move through Thursday morning and getting into your afternoon. You're starting to see it move mainly into northern New England and northern the northeasternmost parts of the country. And then as we continue this, you start to see this next surge of moisture. And this is your secondary storm, so this isn't what we're covering right here. We're not covering this right here, but we will be covering that in another video. So make sure you are staying tuned and you are subscribed so you don't miss when I do upload that. So here's your total ice accumulation, and you see we do have about a half an inch on some of these models in parts of Ohio, and I'm definitely not going to rule out maybe 3/10 of an inch, 4/10 of an inch a possibility over some of these areas, but I don't think it's going to get to half an inch. But definitely it's in the realm of possibility. I wouldn't be shocked if you got half an inch in some of these areas over northern Ohio. It's not really it's something that the models have been showing for a couple of days, but really it seems a little bit on the high end and kind of out there. For parts of the Northeast, though, you are going to be experiencing quite a bit of ice. No matter what, you're really a 1/10 to 3/10 of an inch of ice in some of these areas. Now, here's your total snowfall from the European model, and you see we're looking at potentially 2 to 6 inches over a good swath here that's moving all the way from southern New Mexico, southern Texas, and through all the way into the the interior parts of the Northeast, where you are going to be experiencing that heavy snowfall. And you are seeing that 6-inch band in this purple move throughout Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and even into Illinois, and then back through into parts of upstate New York, through northern parts of New England as well, where you could be experiencing a little bit more snowfall than other areas. Now, let's get into my forecast here, and it's going to show you your storm track, your rainfall and snowfall, as well as your ice forecast as well. So, starting off with your storm track, this is tracking from the 4th through the 6th, so make sure that you are taking that into account. I'm not going anywhere past the 7th, because that's where the models are really going really crazy, and they're really not agreeing with each other. So past the 7th, I really don't want to forecast this early, but definitely will go for all the way until the 6th. So your storm track is going to dip through into Texas and then reform. You saw that on the surface analysis map, through Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and move through the central United States, and then back through Canada, and then into the northeastern United States. Here's your first layer of mountain snow. You still have a little bit of snow to come in parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, through New Mexico, and into western Texas, but that is very elevation dependent, so check out your National Weather Service. They all have snowfall maps on their page, or you could go to nws.digital.gov and they show you your interactive snowfall map. So that's definitely a way that you can find out, and they do that very accurately, and they definitely take into account elevation, and that's really a great source if you do live out in the mountainous west. Now, here's your first layer of snowfall. We have under an inch of snowfall, so basically a coating here for anywhere from the south central into parts of the Great Lakes and into parts of the Northeast, where you are going to be experiencing under an inch of snowfall for the most part. Now, we have this 1 to 3 inch layer, and this can be extending from Texas, Oklahoma, and through parts of the Ozarks and into parts of the Great Lakes and Northeast, where you are going to be experiencing 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and really anywhere in this area, I expect you to get at least 1 inch of snowfall. But as you get into this next layer, 3 to 6 inches here, where I expect you to get over 3 inches at least, and some areas could top half a foot. And this is moving through northwest Texas, really western Texas, through the spine of Oklahoma, and into parts of Kansas, Missouri, through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and into southern Michigan, and then into parts of northern upstate New York, and the northern halves of Vermont and New Hampshire, as well as most of Maine, seeing over 3 inches to at least half a foot, or to at most half a foot, and then 6 to 12 inches for parts of the interiormost parts of the Northeast, as well as this little strip here moving through North Texas into Oklahoma, Kansas, and a little bit of Missouri and Illinois there, seeing 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. And I wouldn't be surprised if some areas got 10 inches, 9, 10 inches out of this event. And I think especially you have the greatest chance if you live in the interior Northeast, where this system could definitely bring you a lot more snowfall than is forecasted. So let's get into your ice forecast here. We have under a tenth of an inch of ice here for parts of southern Missouri, southern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and through parts of Pennsylvania, northern Maryland, and into parts of New Jersey, New York, and into Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, where I expect you to get at least some icy precipitation at the start of this event. Now, a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch here for parts of Ohio, and then through into Pennsylvania, and into parts of southern upstate New York, and Connecticut and Rhode Island, and a little bit of Massachusetts. We're expecting a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch of ice. Now we have even your rainfall here. We have under an inch of rainfall, so basically any precipitation if you do live in the south central and southeastern United States, excluding parts of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and even a little bit of Alabama and North Carolina there, and the southernmost part of Texas. Now, we have a 1 to 2 inch area, and this can be spanning from northern Louisiana through parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and through into the Tennessee Valley, where I do expect you to get 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And on yesterday's video, I had 2 to 3 inches, and some of that already fell. But with this next system, definitely I would, if I put both of them on this same map, I would definitely have a 3 to 5 inch, maybe even a 5 to 8 inch layer on this map. So a lot of rainfall in this event that is going to be accumulating for parts of the southeast. Now, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video when I do upload. Thank you guys for staying through this video, and I really do appreciate it. And hopefully my voice my voice gets better, and I get better by tomorrow, so I can make another video for you guys tomorrow. And I really do appreciate all the support on my channel recently. So thank you guys very much. Anyways, guys, that was Eli, the other guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.